Hi there, welcome back to another edition of Jackie and Pete's Caravan in Life. So far this year we have spent time in Clipsby Hall in Norfolk. We then went on our long-awaited month in Spain, which, if you watch the video, did not turn out anything like we thought it would. And then end of March we came back to our seasonal pitch here on Fen Farm on Mersea Island. It's absolutely beautiful here. You're here from 15th of March through to the 1st of November. And here's a quick just look around from where I'm sitting. So there's Pete down the beach. And then there's the caravans. And we've got one of those in between where we are is sort of tidal floodplains that fill with water during high tide. They've improved, I'll go over there in a minute, but they've improved the banks this year, for those of you that looked at last year's videos. So this is really why we love this area, because you've got great views from the caravan of the sea and all the different weathers that come about. And incredibly, it's now only the 26th, 27th of April, and as you can see, we've got absolutely beautiful weather. Okay, for those of you that were with us here at Fen Farm last year, you'll remember that at high tide we had to try and squash around that gate because the water was coming up and you had to sort of dodge it trying to get through. Well, what they've done now is they've literally dug out the water course, which at the moment it's coming off a low tide, so it's not full of water. So this will actually stop the caravans there getting flooded when it's a super high tide. It doesn't look very attractive at the moment, but hopefully over the seasons it'll do its job and it'll come back to life and look quite pretty. And there's lots of black asphalt everywhere. And as you can hear, just silent. The ideal place if you just want to relax. Hi, I hope you enjoyed the sight of me on that windsurfer there. Not really. Yeah, I was trying with the DJI Osmo that we bought, if you remember, and zooming in, but then it's trying to track and it wasn't catching up properly. So that's something else to play with and develop while we're down here. See three dots, more or less directly where the paddle boarder is now. She's actually obscuring the three dots, and we wonder if they are heading this way. So we're sort of transfixed on the three dots that the lady's now obscuring. Because they're definitely getting closer. But are they jet skis? Are they paddle boats? Yeah. Well, 10 minutes have elapsed and they haven't really got a lot closer. If you can see them, you can see that they're paddling. Obviously a nice luxurious paddle, so they're not actually going anywhere. This is East Mersea Beach, and that over there is Mersea. And then coming round this way, it's really in sort of like hazy mist at the moment, but that's Bradwell in front of us, and the sort of mobile homes on the sort of rock face there, that's Cooper's. So we're on Fen Farm, and that's Cooper's next door. So now we're going to head back towards the caravan and show you the improvements they've made to the sort of drainage and everything else to stop the sea coming over this way during high tide. As I said, at the moment it's not particularly attractive, but let's see what you think. So this is where Pete is now. That's where in high tide the water came up, and the reason was, which you couldn't see because it was all hidden last season, was because of this, both sides. So no one actually saw that this even existed because it was really covered with all the overgrowth, and we sort of try and get around that way. So they've built this bit up, and then that goes all the way around the caravans. So this is just past the gate where we were. So you've got mobile homes, and this year they've put down these bases. We think to aid, but this was all a lovely grassed area last season, so hopefully it comes back. It'd be a real shame, you know, if it doesn't, because it doesn't look, I don't know, as nice as it did last summer. But we're not in this field anyway. We're just over the bridge in this one. So there's the sea. We've just filmed from over there. So we come around this way, and there's Pete up ahead, and that's our unit. That's where we are. Right, so this is our pitch. For people that are interested, to be this close to the beach here at Fen Farm this year is something like 2,920, so it's just under £3,000, and that is from beginning of middle of March to the beginning of November. Now the only reason we are, this is a snippet that no one knows yet, thinking about, not particularly here, but maybe getting something like that, is that then that would be our home for the whole of the summer, and then the caravan would be parked up somewhere, so whenever we wanted to go to France, Spain, or even just go anywhere in this country, want to tour, go on holiday somewhere, we haven't got to break all this down, because if we decide it's going to be a beautiful September and we want to go away, then obviously you've got to pack up the whole of this, which isn't particularly easy. And then that's our outside space. Highly recommend this windbreak. This is what you're looking at, is a 7-panel Dometic Pro. windbreak, and you've got the zip door there. And yeah, we actually got it cheaper. The one panel there should have been 130, and we got it for 50. And that door should have been 50, and we got it for 33. And then the 5 panel was originally 295, and we got it for 250. So, but it is permanent. It's there, you know, as long as you want to have it up, and it's really, really sturdy. At night we've got lights all around it, and I'll show you pictures of that in a little while. And obviously the view from the caravan windows, you have still got the view of the beach. Hi. When you want to come to Mersea Island, it is an island, and you've got something called the Strood, which is basically a causeway, and twice a day it floods, and at least 2-3 times a month for a week the high tide comes above the road and it's impassable. Now, people have said to us over the times we've been here, is there lights or barriers stopping you going across? And the answer is no. You just have to look at the tide times, and if you think you can cross, and otherwise you don't. So you always get people down on the causeway on the Strood filming to see if they can catch people that are getting stuck in the water and having to be towed out and floating away, and there are videos that show that happening. So this is what happened one day when we actually fell foul of the tide. We knew that you had to leave about half an hour before high tide, but the problem was that it was a super high tide, and so it came in a lot earlier than we thought, and we got caught. So this is what happened. Hi there, beautiful sunny day. You can probably see the water reflections on the roof. We are trying to leave Mersea Island in Essex, and the high tide is in. So this is our current view. And then from the side of the car, before you come to or leave Mersea Island in Essex. Yeah, we sat there like that for, I don't know, 40 minutes at least, something like that. And then we saw a 4x4 come towards us, and he seemed to be doing okay. So we thought, okay, we'll go for it. So then we had to do it, but we had to stop halfway through to let the water go down a little bit more. But this is what it looks like crossing the Strood when it's high tide.
Don't know if I'm brave enough.
yeah, something else that happened this week. Really bizarre. Mersea got hit by this huge swarm of flies. That everyone was selling out fly spray and everything else, and we had them in the caravan, had them in the awning, and we've got sort of fly papers hanging up everywhere. But they really got to Pete the other night. So this is Pete trying to kill the flies in the caravan.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it now. Oh God. You're doing it well, girl.
Oh, very. You could put that on the.
It's on the extractor. On the extractor.
Are we all done? Yes, hands in the air. Good job, guys. Well done. Well done, well done. Yeah, that was grim.
Piss off. Where's it gone? Oh, it was there.
I've just seen when you
Right.
interviews there.
Been cheering together for 3 hours and 8 minutes. Who's the master?
There's.
Giorgio is talking to Big Brother.
Jojo, how did you enjoy your spam mail?
Look, honestly, okay. Spam, one of my favorite places in the world is Hawaii, and spam in Hawaii is actually like a delicacy. They love it there. They make the soup with spam on it. Anyways, but it's a little bit. That much, like it actually is like gurgling down in my tummy.
Jojo, what's the weirdest thing you've ever had delivered to you before?
The weirdest thing I've ever had delivered to me before, a bomb. I had a crazy stalker, and he sent me loads of things, sex toys, knives, but he sent me a bomb, a man-made bomb, and that got him put in prison for 5 whole years, and yeah. I was little, I was only 13, 12.
What's the matter with you?
It's not
13, that was 13, 12. At the time, it was very scary.
Got him! Dandelion!